All right, everyone, how are we all feeling after that Daizen Maida moment, eh? It's going to be in your mind somewhere, I'm sure. We're going to discuss it here. I've got Scott on with me. You can probably tell we're not recording this over the internet, Scott. We're actually
in person.
Tell us a little bit about where we are, because these people are absolute legends.
So we're at the Turf Sports Bar and Grill here in Melbourne, home of the Melbourne #1 CSC, the oldest CSC in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah, I've also heard that, unconfirmed, that this is not just the oldest CSC in the Southern Hemisphere, but the oldest supporters club, full stop, in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's a pretty amazing place we're in. Big shout out to Melbourne #1 CSC. Lovely people. I've met Scott. He's all right. The rest of the people are even nicer. That's harsh. Sorry, I don't mean to slag you off.
Well, I'm a bit like I'm probably a bit like today's game, a bit underwhelming.
Okay, I'll let you say that. I'm not going to comment on that. And also a big shout out to the Turf, the venue where we are tonight. I've loved my evening. I just wish Celtic would have won, but we didn't lose, so we're in that kind of middle ground. So yeah, big thanks to everyone. That's the shout outs done. Lovely place we are. Scott, what you saying after that? How are you feeling?
Underwhelmed. No, I'm okay. I'm not going to kick the cat when I get home. It's not going to ruin my week. It's just okay.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Strange one. Did we start right at the end with that Daizen chance? Because that was just crazy. Because I think we're probably everyone's the same, but certainly you're watching the game, you're kind of counting down the clock, and we're at 96 or 97, and you're just almost waiting in the full-time whistle going, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to peter out to a 1-1 draw. And then James Tavernier slips, and Daizen's running through, and your mind's going mad thinking, oh my God, Daizen's about to slot home the latest winner we've ever had at Ibrox to end the derby season in the most amazing way. And then Daizen kind of takes a big touch and gets a bit muddled up and doesn't really know what he's doing, and clearly doesn't score. And it all just leaves us feeling a little bit deflated at full time.
You'd back him to put that in, wouldn't you? The form he's been in this year, he would have put that in 9 times out of 10, I think. Or at least play Johnny Kenny. I think Hatate was there as well, a bit further out. It's like, someone's got to put it in that.
Yeah.
And it didn't go anywhere, and then that was it. And
happens, doesn't it?
It does.
It does leave you feeling a little bit frustrated at the end, but I don't think that was too bad from Celtic. I thought that was a big improvement, I'd say, on the previous couple of derbies. It wasn't perfect. There's parts of our performance. Personally, it's maybe an area we can get into, but I still think we give Rangers a little bit too much respect and are a little bit nice in this fixture. And I look at some of their players, and I genuinely believe some of their players despise us. And I don't know if any of our players massively despise Rangers. You've got Rio Hatate helping their players up, etc. But that's probably a relatively small point. It was a general improvement from Celtic. We zip right back to the start of the game. Yeah, we're missing a number of players as well. Like, you look at the starting lineup that was named.
Yeah, I mean, start of Brendan's press conference when he announced who was missing, and you start casting your mind back. It's like, do we want to miss them in this fixture? I mean, it can be done. I mean, Rangers for the News fixture had a host of players out that they need, and they perform that way. So we're Celtic. We got the depth. We can do it.
But you're missing key players, though. Like, see, when you look at
they are.
Casper's missing, Johnston's missing, Jota's missing, Kuhn's missing. That's 4 players who would 100% have started the game.
Yeah.
And also are kind of probably 4 of our most important players.
Yeah, I think so. It's particularly down the wings. I mean, James Forrest, I thought, did really well filling in. Daizen in first half was, and probably largely for the game, was not himself. He wasn't really in the game. And you sort of feel like if you had Jota or if you had Kuhn, that, those opportunities that we have or create would be there, and we'd be causing them all kinds of trouble because we controlled big chunks of that game, played our style of football for the first time this year against Rangers, I think.
Yeah. The game, I guess, building up to the game, and we've seen everyone talking about it and how we felt. We felt this was a vital game for Celtic. it's easy to get a little bit caught up sometimes. They've beaten us the last couple of times. We absolutely have to set the record straight and put them in their place and all of this stuff. And the players kind of talk the talk, I guess, and leading up to the game. And as I say, I don't think Celtic were bad, but I do think the reality probably is that it was a match of not too much consequence, to be honest. And I know Brendan Rodgers says every derby matters, and obviously it does. I mean, everyone watching the game will know how they felt during the game. But the reality is we won the league last week, and I did feel the match was just missing that slight edge, maybe that we've seen in other ones.
Yeah, there was no spice at all in this game, really. And usually there's an opportunity for one cup final or something. So this is like the prelude to that. That's not there because they're not good enough. So it's just, it's probably first time in a long time where there's just nothing hanging on it. Not even, I mean, what's bragging rights worth these days? Not much.
Certainly not for us in Australia when we don't need to see any Rangers fans. But I thought we missed a little bit.
I do have one Rangers fan around the corner. Okay, I do. And he's a miserable old bastard, I got to say.
Okay, right. Let's go back to the start of the game. I didn't think we started the game particularly well. Rangers have that chance after a minute, don't they? The Balogun header should score. To be fair, after that, I think from set pieces we were pretty secure. I know they score one that's disallowed for an offside, which is the right decision. Sinizalo maybe a little bit slowed down to that. Otherwise, Sinizalo was pretty good in the game. Your thoughts on the start of the game and how we kind of maybe started to control things after that?
We were clearly sitting back and letting them come at us. They had that chance. But for the rest of the next 10, 15 minutes, we looked quite settled, but we were hoofing the ball out, not really giving anyone a chance to spend time on the ball and get things going. Around the 15-minute mark, that did change, though. So we started playing the game more on our terms. And then, I mean, you get probably the first big moment in the game where Greg Taylor gives away just the silliest free kick in a dangerous area, which leads to their goal, which then goes to VAR and ultimately gets given offside. So we dodged a bullet there. That would have been terrible to concede that because I thought we were just starting to get it on our terms there. But you ride your luck sometimes too, and we certainly got it there.
Big chance we have. I don't know if it was before or after that, but we get a kind of lucky break, and Adam Ida's running through, and he's got Daizen Maida to his left. He's got James Forrest running to his right, and it's funny in these moments how your mind kind of goes so quickly, and you go from a split second of Daizen having the ball, Adam Ida having the ball, to suddenly thinking, that's James Forrest. James Forrest, give him it, and he's going to score his first goal of the season at Ibrox, and we're going to have the most amazing moment. And Adam Ida plays it to James Forrest, but it's under hit, and it was so frustrating because that was such a good opening for us.
Yeah,
and it was maybe symptomatic of the overall performance, like just getting into good areas, but just not quite having that final pass. Felt there's a lot of like under hit passes as well, but that could have been like such a big moment. And like Adam Ida's capable of that pass. That's not a difficult pass for him.
When the game opens up, that's when Adam Ida is his most dangerous. He's lethal. Showed it against some bigger teams than Rangers this year, and the quality of the finishing that he's capable of doing in that situation. So, yeah, it was really disappointing. He'd be disappointed with his first half. We know everyone else was disappointed with his first half.
Should have been in my group chat at half-time. They know who they are.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal. Yeah. I don't think you can do a transfer mid-game. That's, it was just sort of symptomatic of his first half. He'd take a half touch too many, or he'd underhit a pass, and the opportunity's gone. And, I mean, he could have easily had two, or at least a goal and an assist going into half-time. We had the ball. We had the time. We're controlling it, and just not the polish to finish it off.
What about his chance at the end of the half when he goes through? And I don't know, I was kind of expecting him to slot it away. I just had a feeling, and it's funny the way it showed it on the camera. You actually thought it was going in for a split second, and then you realise it had been deflected. But then the double whammy of not just missing that, but Rangers getting the chance at the other end and taking their chance.
Yeah, that's just got to go in, doesn't it? Like He's got the quality to do it. Just in that moment, again, I think he sort of took a little half touch to right himself and then fired it into Kelly in goal. Goes out for a corner. Corner comes in, Rangers deal with it, and they're in transition. I said to you at halftime, pretty sure in one of the previous derbies, we've conceded a goal exactly the same way. We took a short corner then, I think, to sort of like the top of the 18-yard box, turned it over, and they were away. And it sort of had that feel this time as well. And Liam Scales makes a bad decision. When we need him to stand up, he goes down and in it goes.
He spent a fair bit of the game on the ground, didn't he, Scales? To be fair, a few players were slipping. I felt the grass had clearly been watered. What are you thinking at half-time then? I don't know if it's just the few pints of Tennent's that I had. And they do Tennent's in here, by the way. You're drinking Magners for some reason. I don't know why you're not in the Tennent's, but anyway.
Yesterday was a massive day, but we won't go into that.
But anyway, at halftime, I'm as I say, I'm feeling all right. I felt we controlled most of the first half. I'm not going to say we dominated it, because you do look and they hit the bar. They obviously score. They score a disallowed goal. Like, they did have chances, and it was a fairly even game throughout. But I did feel we were the team controlling it in the main. When we had the ball, I felt like we were the team probing. It felt like, and this won't be a huge surprise to all you watching, it felt like Rangers were getting their chances from dead balls mainly, and kind of playing off the carnage and the chaos in there. What are you thinking at half-time?
I think... I just think that we're just like one touch away from opening that game up. We could have easily had 2 or 3 of our own in that first half. So it wasn't like the other games where they'd sort of dominated previously.
Yeah.
This was different, and it was sort of managerial in the way that we'd played the rest of the first half out, I think. And so just super disappointed to concede that late goal before half-time and going down when we know we played the better football in that first half.
Yeah. So Adam, he does, as you say, he's getting pelters at half-time. Probably a lot of people watching this.
Liam Scales too.
Yeah. But what does it say about Ida that he still scores in the second half? I mean, maybe kind of symptomatic again of his season, in that he's received a lot of criticism, but he still scores goals. There's a lot of Adam Ida's game he needs to work on. There was a lot of frustrating parts today. There's a lot of things he did well as well. He's doing that backing in thing you spoke about against Dundee United, but he still scores the goal that gets us a point at Ibrox.
It's a real snapshot with some power too. It comes off a Rangers elbow. So a little bit of luck, and sometimes you need that when it's not going your way, right?
And good though in the SFA, by the way. It's not something I would normally say, but I thought they were going to disallow that, or they did disallow, but I thought VAR was going to uphold that. Absolutely would have been the wrong decision, because Daizen Maida is not in the goalkeeper's eye line, and he makes no difference to that ball going in. That ball is going in regardless. Yeah. So I actually thought it was good that the VAR officials saw sense there, because I actually didn't think they would. And I thought that goal wouldn't stand, but it 100% should have.
I mean, you've got someone called Dallas making the final call, right? So, I was with you. I'm like, it's so obviously a goal on replay. I could believe the linesman actually called that.
I know, from his angle.
But, so when it went to VAR, I'm like, it's clearly a goal, but would it surprise you if they chalked it off? But thankfully they made the right decision. It's a good goal. It's a really good effort from Adam Ida, because he gets it and he still has to turn, and he gets that power in the shot, and he gets a little bit of luck, but that's okay. And a goal to the good guys.
Yeah, and it was one of the few times we got Daizen in behind as well, because Daizen first half I felt was, as quiet as he's been in a while, especially in one of these fixtures. I mean, he's usually causing them all sorts of hassle, and I felt everything we did with Daizen in the first half was him coming towards the ball, and we all know Daizen isn't as good coming towards the ball. You need to get Daizen in behind. Greg Taylor had one pass before that in the second half early on, where he played a lovely ball in behind the defender for Daizen. I can't remember what happened from it, But then we get Daizen in behind again for the goal, and that was, really important for me. But I think you're right, he did as well, and good on him. He's still going to get a lot of criticism for parts of that performance. But the one thing about Adam Eady, he doesn't shrink in that environment. He's still, as I say, as I repeat, he gets you the goal that gets you a draw.
Yeah, I think that's a credit to him, because it'd be easy for him to drop his head or have a bit of a sulk because it's not going his way. But, I mean, he does this time and time again. It's kind of, he has games where he's a bit Jekyll and Hyde about it. And so long as he keeps working and keeps putting the effort in, chances come for him, and he'll usually end up taking it at some point. So he's not the finished article. He's still a young man. He's not hit his prime yet. He'll be all right. It's just,
You think so?
just one of those that I think
Because a lot
is
of
going to be
people
all right.
are writing him off.
Well, I mean, that's the nature of the beast, right? Everyone's going to have opinions. We have opinions on here. I have an opinion here in Australia, like, whatever.
Terrible. Imagine having an opinion in Australia. Jeez, oh.
It's usually getting shouted into a void, so thanks for giving me a microphone.
Yeah, but you
But,
feel all right about...
I think he'll turn out all right. I think he'll get it if he stays fit for the rest of the year. He gets a full preseason with us. It's not going to be all this speculation like he came into this year with Norwich City. Is he coming? Is he not? Then you come in late and you're playing catch up for an entire season. That's why I think Arnie Engels, I thought he had a really good first half.
Yeah,
He's starting to use that body.
Yeah, I agree. I jinxed him though, because I tweeted about him. I made the mistake, the kind of cardinal sin of tweeting during the game, 20 minutes in, and saying Engels is playing really well. And I thought for the second half of the first half, he kind of faded. But I thought he started the game with real aggression, real quality. I thought generally had a good game. I thought Callum McGregor had a good game. Rio Hatate had a good game. Just stop helping Rangers players with cramp, please.
Yes.
Rio, let's... I know maybe as a fan it's just a daft thing to get wound up about, and he's it's actually a harsh thing to have a go at someone for being a good person. And Rio Hatate is a I've never met him, but probably a really kind of humble person, kind person, but not during the derby. Like, I mean, as I say, I feel like they have real hatred for us, and I don't know if we do. I genuinely don't know if any of us.
I think we're too nice.
Yeah,
They're
and we
too
have more
nice
quality than them. So if you match their, I never want Celtic to be full of hatred, because that's more a custom for them than us. But just have a bit more aggression at times. I think we do lack it in this fixture, and that's a little bit of an issue for me. But I thought Engels had a bit of that in the first half. Who else did you pick out? James Forrest did some really good things.
He was just a threat on the wing that we had in that first half. I've like, that ball's going to land for him at some point. It's either going to be the pass or the goal that splits that game open. They didn't really seem to have too much of an answer. But again, it's just sort of like we're 3/4 of the way there and can't quite finish it off. And that was the tale of the first half especially.
Defence-wise, Ralston, again, Ralston's going to get criticism, but he just...
I thought he was really solid today.
He plays himself
There's
well.
not one moment where you go, oh, gee, like he got found wanting there. He was the bricky he always is, right? So he was just doing the job. I don't think anyone should really be critical. It's hard to replace a player like Alistair Johnson and what he brings, particularly on the creative side of the ball as well. But I thought he played a really solid game. He kept their danger men in check for the most part. I don't think you'd be too harsh on Ralston.
Greg Taylor, I thought, did some things well. There was other things. There was a spell in the second half where he just kept passing it to Rangers players. He was getting so much space in the first half. I don't know if you noticed that, but like acres of space. And I actually felt Greg Taylor playing in that inverted role that he did in the first half at times was a big difference maker for us in this fixture. And that I thought we played through Rangers press a lot better. Like, it was night and day from the previous 3 derbies, to be honest, because the last 3 derbies we've really struggled with that. And I felt Greg Taylor was a big part of that. I honestly do think Celtic controlled that game. Rangers had chances, but I don't know, just a bit more quality, maybe a bit more riding on the game, and you see Celtic win that. Do you think next season when the matches go back to being important? Because, like, let's face it, the last 3 derbies in terms of actual consequences, they haven't actually meant anything other than being a big rivalry and big derby matches. They've not meant anything in terms of the league. Is the hope that next year, when we go back into things at the start of the season, bit between our teeth, that we can get the better of them again?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the season was essentially over by Christmas in real terms.
Yeah.
They were dropping points left, right and centre. They continue to do that in the back half of the season as well. So whenever we've stumbled, they've never taken advantage of it, really. It's just... I think we also got bigger fish to fry now. I remember conversations a year or two ago where they're starting to become irrelevant, like Espanyol to Barcelona. I really think we're potentially on the cusp of that. Like, they don't offer much, right? Like, they exist. And they're miserable, which is great for us. But, I mean, when the season's over, or they're not competing in any of the trophies that we're competing for, what are they?
Yeah. I guess there's always like fear, and I touched on this previously, and that when you're the number one team, you're there to be shot at. Every team is coming for your place, and there's always a general amount of fear looking at Rangers, and I guess like the takeover is the thing now. I think the reality here is that Celtic are the dominant club in Scottish football by far. I know in this fixture in recent times, last few matches, we've maybe had some issues. I think there's genuine issues there in part of it, and we've touched on some of them. Maybe the team lacks a little bit of aggression at times in this fixture. There's other things I think we play into Rangers' hands. I do think a big part of the last few fixtures has been that, as I say, the league has been won, and I do think when things really matter again at the start of the season, you'll just see more of an edge from Celtic in this fixture. So I feel good about things generally. How do you feel coming away from the derbies this season? I mean, they have kind of got the better of us across the derby. I mean, yeah,
you always want to win them.
You'd say it's 2 wins each and a draw, wouldn't you? But
yeah, I mean, one of them was important. You won a trophy after it, so in the League Cup final. So yeah, I mean, you do always want to beat them. I'm contradicting myself, I know. But, I mean, in the context of the full year, it's just been And today's game was kind of like that too.
Yeah. Okay.
As I said, I'm not going to be miserable for a week like I would normally be.
Yeah.
But at the start of the year, they'll have hope. We'll have to be on it. And
we will be, though.
Yeah, we will, because we're Celtic. That's what we do, right? So it'll be the start of a new year. Everyone's even. 3 more trophies in Champions League, hopefully, to play for. And that'll be our year, and we go again.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, got a fair bit of work still to do this season. We've got 3 league games left now. Hopefully see a few youngsters in there. Johnny Kenny came on.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Johnny Kenny start one of the final 3 matches. Yang came on as well. Like to see more of him potentially. And then obviously, I mean, like, today gets built up, the derby gets built up, but we have a far bigger game at the end of the month going for the treble. I mean, I know we kind of take, I don't know, we I don't know if Celtic fans take trebles for granted, but I think it's certainly, everyone's kind of expecting us to win the treble now, but bring on that cup final. That's still a cup final against Aberdeen. I can't wait for that game.
That's a good team to play to.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I mean, I know Aberdeen sort of fell away in the league. They had that great result at Celtic Park, and then we smashed them in the League Cup. But they're a team that gets at it, and then they play with no fear against us. They're not timid. They'll go all guns blazing, or they'll get the rubbish kicked out of them. Right? So it's a good. It's going to be a good final, I think. I'm looking forward to that.
Anything else in the game? Any referee frustrations? You maybe touched on that. Any
Nick Walsh?
There was a few strange decisions for me. Like there was one Carter Vickers foul that was not a foul in the corner.
Like, it's just, I don't know what Nick Walsh thinks most of the time. I don't think he knows what he's thinking most of the time. But he just reacts to things. Like, something will happen And it's almost like a Punch and Judy show. He gets a reaction from the crowd and then decides whether he's going to make a decision or not. He also, when the game was kind of flowing a bit, he was the one that was stopping the game.
Nah, we know who that plays into
there's
the
no
hands
rhythm.
of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like, Nick Walsh, give it a rest, mate.
Right. Okay. Well, I think they're closing up here. I can hear that. You know that way. I don't know if you can pick it up. Chairs getting dragged across. Clearly, they're done for the night in turf. So I guess we're getting turfed out. Yeah. Do you like that one?
I like that. That's good.
Final comment, Scott. We'll catch up with you soon. But give us a final comment.
Final comment. Wasn't it great to have Celtic fans back at Ibrox? I'm sure they
Great
got it large, right?
Yeah. Great point.
We probably can't properly get the atmosphere and the vibe on the TV here, but I'm sure that the 2,000 there had a good time. Hopefully everyone gets home safe as well.
And like they looked buzzing at the end of the game. Obviously, it would have been even more amazing had Daizen slotted that away. Callum McGregor went to Daizen straight away after his missed chance, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, I wanted to win that game. To be honest, I'm happy winning trebles, and you know, next season we'll deal with Rangers again. Like, bring on the challenge. Like, I want a challenge from Rangers. Give us a challenge, and Celtic will deal with it again. Okay, Scott, thank you.
Thank you.
Melbourne #1 CSC, thank you. Turf Bar, thank you. All of you legends, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Wherever you're watching around the world, have a beer. We're the champions. We're hopefully going to win the treble. I'm going to do a video tomorrow as well, which is probably in like 8 hours, which is, I don't know what state I'll be in tomorrow if I have a few more beers tonight, but I'll go through your, no doubt, numerous comments on the game. Thanks, everyone. Chat to you soon.